My mother-in-law lost over $250,000 to a romance scammer. And when we finally found out the truth, we discovered she had stolen $150,000 from her own sister to keep sending him money. And even after we showed her proof that he was fake, she still refused to believe us. If you want to know what happened, make sure you subscribe to her words because this story will shock you. My name is Jessica. I am 28 years old. And I need to tell you about the worst thing that has ever happened to my family. About how someone we loved lost everything because she fell in love with a man who did not even exist. This is my story. I have been married to my husband Mark for 3 years. Mark is 30 years old. He is kind and caring, and he loves his family more than anything. His mother's name is Sarah. She is 58 years old. She has always been a sweet woman, a good mother, a good friend. She owned her own house. She was doing well. Or at least we thought she was. About 2 years ago, I started noticing that Sarah was acting different. She was on her phone all the time. Like all the time. Every time we visited her, she was texting someone. At first, I thought it was cute. I thought maybe she had made some new friends. She would make excuses. She would say she was busy. She would say she had plans. But when we asked her what plans she just said, oh, just things. She was being secretive. And that was not like her. Sarah had always been open with us. But now she was hiding something. One day, Mark and I went to visit Sarah at her house. When we walked in, I noticed something strange. Her living room looked empty. The nice couch that used to be there was gone. The coffee table was gone. Even some of the pictures on the wall were gone. Mark asked. Sarah looked nervous. Oh, I am just redecorating, she said. I sold some old stuff. I wanted a fresh start. That seemed weird, but we did not push it. We just sat down and talked with her for a while. But the whole time Sarah kept looking at her phone. She kept smiling. She kept typing. It was like we were not even there. A few weeks later, Sarah called Mark. She said she needed to borrow some money. She said her car broke down and she needed to fix it. Mark said okay and sent her the money. We did not think much of it. Family helps family, right? But then a month later she called again. She said she had some medical bills to pay. Mark sent her the money again. But this time he was starting to get worried. Mom, are you okay? He asked her. Is something going on? Do you need help? No, I am fine. Do not worry about me. But we were worried. Because this was not normal. Sarah had always been good with money. She had savings. She had a retirement account. This time even more stuff was gone. The TV was gone. The dining table was gone. The house looked almost empty. And Sarah looked different too. She looked tired. Mark said, where is all your stuff? Sarah got defensive. I told you I am redecorating, she said. You have sold almost everything. And you keep asking us for money. Please, Mom, just tell us what is happening. Sarah looked away. Nothing is happening, she said quietly. I am fine. Please just leave it alone. But I could not leave it alone. I knew something was very wrong. So I decided to do some digging. I know that sounds bad. I know I should not have invaded her privacy. But I was worried about her. I thought maybe she was sick. Maybe she had a gambling problem. Maybe she was in some kind of trouble. I needed to know. One day when Sarah was in the bathroom, I looked at her phone. It was sitting on the kitchen table. I picked it up and looked at her messages. And what I saw made my heart stop. Sarah was on a dating app. She was talking to a man named David Miller. I scrolled through the messages. There were hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. They had been talking for over a year. And the messages were not normal. They were intense, romantic. Sarah was telling this man that she loved him, that she could not wait to meet him, that he was the love of her life, and he was saying the same things back to her. He was calling her beautiful, calling her his soulmate, saying he wanted to marry her, saying they were going to have a life together. I felt sick. I put the phone down. Sarah came back into the kitchen. I did not say anything. I did not know what to say. I just looked at her. And she looked at me. About the man named David. About the messages. Mark was shocked. He could not believe it. His mother was talking to some random. His mother who had never even used a computer before a few years ago. We need to talk to her, Mark said. We need to make sure she is safe. So the next day we went back to Sarah's house. We sat her down. And we asked her about David. Sarah's face went red. How do you know about David? She asked. I saw the messages on your phone, I said. I am sorry. I should not have looked. But Sarah, I am worried about you. Who is this man? Sarah smiled. A real smile. The first real smile I had seen on her face in months. David is my boyfriend, she said. We met online. And he is wonderful. He is kind and smart. And he loves me. Mom, have you ever met him in person? Mark asked. No, Sarah said. Not yet. He lives overseas right now. He is a businessman. He travels a lot for work. But we are going to meet soon. He promised. I felt my stomach drop. I asked. He is in Europe right now, Sarah said. He is working on a big business deal. But once it goes through, he is going to come here. And we are going to be together. Sarah, have you sent him any money? Mark asked. Sarah looked away. A little bit, she said quietly. How much? Mark asked. Sarah did not answer. Mom, how much? Mark asked. Again. His voice was louder now. I do not know, Sarah said. Maybe 30,000. Maybe 40. I do not keep track. Mark stood up. His face was white. Mom, are you serious? You sent a man you have never met $40,000? He needed help, Sarah said. She was getting defensive now. He had emergencies. His mother got sick. He got stuck in another country. He needed money to finish his business deal. I was just helping him. Sarah, this is a scam, I said. This man is not real. He is just using you for money. Sarah's face got hard. No, she said. You do not know him. You do not understand. David loves me. He is not scamming me. You are just jealous because I found someone who makes me happy. We are not jealous, Mark. Saad, we are worried. This does not sound right, Mom. Please just let us help you. Let us make sure he is real. He is real, Sarah yelled. And I do not need your help. I am a grown woman. I can make my own decisions. Now please leave. Mark tried to talk to her more, but Sarah would not listen. She told us to get out. So we left. We drove home in silence. We did not know what to do. We did not know how to help her. Over the next few months, things got worse. Much worse. Sarah stopped answering our calls. She stopped coming to family dinners. We barely saw her. And when we did see her, she looked terrible. She had lost weight. She looked sick. She looked like she was falling apart. Then one day, Mark got a call from the bank. The manager said he needed to speak with Mark about his mother's account. Mark went to the bank. And what he found out made him feel sick. Sarah had emptied her entire savings account. Over $100,000. Gone. All of it sent to someone overseas. The bank manager showed Mark the records. Dozens of wire transfers. All sent to different accounts. All sent to David Miller. Mark came home and told me. We both sat there in shock. $100,000. Sarah's entire life savings. Gone. Sent to a man she had never met. A man who was probably not even real. We knew we had to do something. We knew we had to stop this before Sarah lost everything. But we had no idea that it was already too late. We had no idea that Sarah had already done something much worse. Something that would tear our entire family apart. We were about to find out that Sarah had not just lost her own money. She had stolen money from someone else. Someone who trusted her, someone she loved. And when the truth came out, it destroyed everything. After Mark found out that Sarah had sent over $100,000 to David, we knew we had to do something. We could not just sit back and watch her destroy her life, so we made a plan. We were going to prove to her that David was not real. We were going to show her the truth. Mark called a private investigator, a man named Tom who specialized in online scams. Tom said he would look into David Miller. While we waited for Tom, we decided to talk to Sarah again. We went to her house one afternoon. When she opened the door, she looked terrible. She was wearing dirty clothes. Her hair was messy. Her house smelled bad. The house looked even more empty than before. Almost everything was gone. The only furniture left was an old chair and a small table. Mom, what happened to everything? Mark asked. I sold it, Sarah said quietly. I needed the money. For David? His business deal fell through. He lost money. And he needed my help. Mark sat down on the floor. Mom, how much have you sent him? He asked. Total. How much? Sarah looked away. Maybe 150,000, she said. Maybe more. I felt sick. $150,000. Mom, you only had 100,000 in your savings, Mark said. Other 50,000? Mark asked again. Sarah started crying. I took out loans, she said. Credit cards. Personal loans. Whatever I could get. Mark put his head in his hands. Oh, Mom, he said. We tried to explain this was a scam, but Sarah would not listen. She said David was real. She said he loved her. Nothing we said could change her mind. A few days later, Tom, the private investigator, called us. He said he had information. We went to his office. Tom opened a folder. David Miller does not exist, he said. The photos your mother has been seeing are stolen. They belong to a real person. A businessman from Canada. The scammer stole his photos and created a fake profile. Tom showed us the real man's Facebook page. It was the same face Sarah had been talking to. But the real man had a wife and kids. He had no idea his photos were being used. The person talking to your mother is part of a scam ring, Tom said. They operate out of West Africa. They target older women, lonely women. They make them fall in love. Then they ask for money. Over and over again. Can we get the money back? Mark asked. Tom shook his head. Once the money is sent overseas, it is gone, he said. The accounts are fake. Everything is fake. I am sorry. Mark started crying. I had never seen him cry before. His mother had lost everything. And there was nothing we could do. We took all the evidence and went to Sarah's house. We showed her everything. The real man's Facebook page. The proof that David Miller was fake. The information about the scam rings. Everything. Sarah looked at the papers. Then she pushed them away. No, she said. This is not true. You are lying. Mom, we are not lying, Mark said. David is not real. He is scamming you. You have lost everything. You are wrong, Sarah said. David is real. I talk to him every day. He lives in Canada. He has a wife. He has nothing to do with the person you have been talking to. Sarah stood up. Get out, she yelled. Get out of my house. David loves me. You are trying to ruin it because you do not want me to be happy. We tried to talk more, but she would not listen. She screamed at us to leave. So we left. That night I could not sleep. I kept thinking about Sarah, about the money she had lost, about how she was in complete denial. Sarah said she sent $150,000. But she only had $100,000 in savings. She said she got loans. But there was no way she could get $50,000 in loans with no job. So where did that extra money come from? The next morning I got my answer. Mark's phone rang at 8 a.m. It was his Aunt Linda, Sarah's sister. Linda was 62 years old. She lived in Florida. She and Sarah had always been close. Linda was crying on the phone. Mark, what is going on? Linda said. Where is Sarah? Why is she not answering my calls? I do not know, Aunt Linda, Mark said. What is wrong? Linda took a deep breath. I just got a call from my bank, she said. They said there has been unusual activity on my account, large withdrawals. I checked my account online. Mark, there is money missing. A lot of money. Mark's face went white. How much? He asked. $150,000, Linda said. It is gone. Someone has been taking money out of my account for 6 months. And I do not know who. But Mark knew who. I knew who. We both knew exactly who. Sarah had access to Linda's account. Linda had given Sarah access years ago to help manage her finances. Linda trusted Sarah, and Sarah had stolen from her. He told her about David, about the scam, about how Sarah had lost all her money, about how she was in denial, and about How she must have taken Linda's money. Linda was silent for a long time. Then she said, I'm coming there. I am getting on a plane today. And I am going to talk to Sarah. And if she does not give me my money back, I am going to the police. Mark tried to calm her down, but Linda would not listen. She hung up. And Mark and I just sat there in shock. Sarah had stolen from her own sister. From someone who trusted her. We picked her up from the airport. She looked angry, tired, hurt. We drove to Sarah's house. Linda did not say a word the whole drive. When we got there, Linda got out and marched to the door. She knocked. Sarah opened it. When Sarah saw Linda, her face went white. Linda, I did not know you were coming. Sarah said. Linda pushed past her and walked inside. She looked around at the empty rooms. Then she looked at Sarah. Where is my money, Sarah? Linda asked. Her voice was cold. Sarah started shaking. I do not know what you are talking about, she said. Do not lie to me, Linda said. I know you took it. $150,000. Gone from my account. You are the only person who has access. So where is my money? Sarah started crying. I did not steal it, she said. I borrowed it. I was going to pay you back. Pay me back with what? Linda yelled. You have nothing left, Sarah. You have no money. No house, nothing. You gave everything to some man online who does not even exist. He does exist, Sarah screamed. David is real. And once his business deal goes through, he is going to pay me back. Then I will pay you back. Linda looked at Sarah with disgust. You are delusional, she said. There is no David. There is no business deal. You stole from me, Sarah. You took my retirement money. Money I worked 40 years to save. And now it is gone. I will get it back, Sarah said. I promise. Just give me time. Linda shook her head. I am going to the police, she said. I am reporting you for theft. You are my sister, but I will not let you do this. You are going to jail, Sarah. Sarah fell to her knees. Just please give me a chance. But Linda was done. She turned and walked out. Mark and I followed her. We got in the car and drove away. Sarah was on her knees in the doorway crying. For the first time, I felt no sympathy for her. She had done this to herself. And now everyone in the family was going to pay the price. Linda stayed at our house that night. She did not sleep. What do you say to someone who just found out their own sister stole $150,000 from them? The next morning, Linda made a decision. She was going to the police. She was going to report Sarah for theft. Mark begged her not to. He said Sarah was sick. He said she was not thinking clearly. He said she needed help, not jail. But Linda would not listen. She is my sister, Linda said. But she stole from me. She took my retirement money. Money I needed to live. And I will not let her get away with it. Linda went to the police station. She filed a report. She showed them her bank statements. She showed them proof that Sarah had access to her account. She told them everything. The police said they would investigate. They said they would talk to Sarah. And they said if they found evidence of theft, they would arrest her. Mark was a mess. He kept saying, this is my fault. I tried to tell him it was not his fault. But he would not listen. 2 days later, the police went to Sarah's house. They knocked on her door. Sarah opened it. The police told her they needed to ask her some questions about Linda's bank account. Sarah let them in. They sat down and started asking questions. Did you have access to Linda's bank account? They asked. Yes, Sarah said. She gave me access years ago. I was helping her manage her money. Did you take money from her account without her permission? They asked. Sarah looked down. I borrowed it, she said quietly. They asked. Sarah did not answer. The police showed her the bank statements. Over $150,000 was transferred from Linda's account to various overseas accounts. All of the transfers were done by Sarah. Where did the money go? They asked. Sarah started crying. I sent it to someone, she said. Someone I care about. He needed help. Who is this person? He had some financial problems and I was helping him. The police looked at each other. Have you ever met this person in real life? They asked. No, Sarah said, but we talk every day. He loves me. They tried to tell her that David Miller was not real. But Sarah would not believe them. She kept saying they were wrong. She kept saying David was real. The police told Sarah they would be in touch. They left, and Sarah sat in her empty house, alone. A few days later, Mark got a call from the police. They said they had enough evidence to arrest Sarah for theft. They said they were going to charge her with a crime. Mark begged them not to. He said his mother was a victim too. He said she had been scammed and manipulated. But the police said it did not matter. Sarah had stolen money, and she had to face the consequences. The next day, the police came back to Sarah's house. This time they were there to arrest her. They knocked on the door. Sarah opened it. They told her she was under arrest for theft. They read her rights. They put handcuffs on her, and they took her away. Mark and I went to the police station. We watched as they processed Sarah. She looked so small, so broken. She kept crying. She kept saying she did not do anything wrong. She kept saying she was just helping someone she loved. Mark posted bail for her. We brought her back to our house. She could not go back to her own house. The bank had foreclosed on it. She had not paid her mortgage in months. She had nothing left. No house, no money, no furniture, nothing. Sarah stayed in our guest room. She did not talk to us. She just stayed in the room all day. She was still messaging David on her phone. Even after everything that had happened. Even after being arrested. She was still talking to him. I could not take it anymore. I went into her room one day and I took her phone. I read what David had been saying to her. He was asking for more money. He was saying he was stuck in the hospital. He was saying he needed money for medical bills. He was saying if she did not send money he might die. And Sarah had been trying to figure out how to get more money to send him. I showed the messages to Mark. We both sat there reading them. This man was still scamming her. Even after she had lost everything. Even after she had been arrested. He was still asking for more money. And Sarah was still trying to give it to him. We have to do something, Mark said. We have to make her see the truth. So we made one last attempt. We sat Sarah down. We showed her all the evidence again. We showed her the real David Miller's Facebook page. We showed her articles about romance scams. We showed her stories from other victims. We showed her everything. But Sarah just shook her head. You do not understand, she said. My David is different. He is not like those other scammers. He loves me. He is real. Mom, he is not real, Mark said. His voice was breaking. Please, please just listen to us. You have lost everything. Your house. Your money. Your sister hates you. You have been arrested. And you are still defending this man. Please, Mom. Please wake up. Sarah looked at Mark with tears in her eyes. You do not know what it is like, she said. To be alone. To be my age and have no one. David makes me feel special. He makes me feel loved. Even if he is not perfect. Even if he needs my help sometimes. At least he cares about me. Which is more than I can say for anyone else. We care about you, Mark said. We have always cared about you. No, you do not, Sarah said. You just want to control me. You want to tell me what to do. But I am an adult. And I can make my own choices. And I choose David. Mark stood up and walked out of the room. He could not take it anymore. I stayed with Sarah. I looked at her. And I realized something. Sarah did not want to believe the truth. Because if she believed the truth, then she would have to accept that she had thrown her entire life away for nothing. She would have to accept that the man she loved did not exist. She would have to accept that she had been a fool. And that was too painful for her to handle. So she chose to stay in denial. She chose to keep believing the lie. Because the lie was easier than the truth. A few weeks later, Sarah had her court date. Linda was there. The prosecutor was there. Sarah's lawyer was there. The judge listened to both sides. Linda told the judge what Sarah had done. Sarah's lawyer tried to argue that Sarah was a victim of a scam and was not thinking clearly. But the judge did not care. The judge said Sarah had committed a crime. She had stolen money from her sister. And she had to be punished. The judge sentenced Sarah to 2 years in prison. Sarah started crying. Mark started crying. I just sat there. Numb. They took Sarah away that day. She went to prison. And our family fell apart. Linda refused to speak to Mark or me. She said we should have stopped Sarah sooner. She said it was our fault too. Mark tried to call her, but she would not answer. She cut us off completely. Mark fell into a deep depression. He blamed himself for everything. He said he should have done more. He said he should have saved his mother. But I told him there was nothing he could have done. Sarah did not want to be saved. While Sarah was in prison, she still tried to contact David. She wrote him letters. Because David was not real. He had gotten everything he could from Sarah, and now he had moved on to his next victim. 6 months into Sarah's sentence, we got a call from the prison. She had been found in her cell unconscious. They rushed her to the hospital. She survived, but barely. We went to see her in the hospital. She looked terrible. Skinny, pale, broken. She looked at Mark and whispered, "I am sorry." Those were the first words she had said to us in months. Mark held her hand and cried. "I'm sorry too, Mom," he said. "I am so sorry." Sarah squeezed his hand. "You were right," she said. "About David. About everything. He was not real, was he?" Mark shook his head. "No, Mom," he said. "He was not real." Sarah closed her eyes. "I lost everything," she whispered. "For nothing." We sat with Sarah for hours. When we left, Mark said he was going to try to get her sentence reduced. He was going to hire a better lawyer. He was going to fight for her. But I knew it was too late. The damage was done. Our family was destroyed. And nothing was ever going to be the same again. Sarah stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. The doctor said she was suffering from severe depression. They put her on medication. They said she needed therapy. They said she was not fit to go back to prison yet. So she stayed in the hospital under supervision. Mark visited her every single day. I went with him sometimes. Sarah was different now. She was quiet. She barely talked. She just stared out the window most of the time. The fire that used to be in her eyes was gone. She looked like an empty shell of the person she used to be. One day while we were visiting, Sarah finally spoke. She looked at Mark and said, "I need to tell you something." "What is it, Mom?" Mark asked. Sarah took a deep breath. "Things that made me believe he was real. He knew things about me. Personal things. Things I'd never told anyone." "What kind of things?" I asked. "He knew about my childhood," Sarah said. "He knew details that only someone close to me would know. And that is why I believed him. I thought he must be real if he knew all those things about me." Mark and I looked at each other. How would a scammer know personal details about Sarah? "Mom, where did he say he got that information?" Mark asked. "He said he asked around," Sarah said. "He said he wanted to know everything about me because he loved me. Everything." "A few days ago I was thinking about it," she said. "And I realized something. All the personal information David knew about me. It was information I had posted on Facebook years ago. Old posts. Old photos. Old comments. I had forgotten about them. But they were all public. Anyone could have seen them." Sarah started crying. "He did not know me," she said. "He just read my Facebook page. He used my own words against me. And I was too stupid to realize it." Mark held his mother's hand. "You are not stupid, Mom," he said. "These people are professionals. They know exactly what to say. They know how to manipulate people. This was not your fault. But it was my fault," Sarah said. "I chose to believe him. I chose to ignore everyone who tried to warn me. No one forced me to do those things." Sarah looked at me. "I destroyed my life," she said. "I destroyed my family. And for what? For a man who never existed. I am so ashamed." We sat with Sarah in silence for a while. Then she said, "I want to talk to Linda. I want to apologize to her." "Do you think she would come see me?" Linda was still too angry. Too hurt. Mark called Linda that night. He told her Sarah wanted to apologize. Linda said no. She said she did not want to hear it. She said sorry was not going to bring back her money. Sorry was not going to fix what Sarah had done. But Mark kept trying. He called Linda every day for a week. And finally Linda agreed. She said she would come to the hospital. But she said she was not making any promises about forgiveness. Linda came to the hospital 2 days later. Mark and I waited outside while Linda went into Sarah's room alone. We could hear Sarah crying. We could hear Linda's voice getting louder. They were in there for over an hour. When Linda finally came out, her eyes were red. She had been crying. She looked at Mark and said, "Your mother is sick. She needs help. Real help." "I know, Aunt Linda," Mark said. "We are trying." Linda shook her head. "I am not pressing charges anymore," she said. "I talked to my lawyer this morning. I'm dropping everything. Your mother is going to prison anyway. And sending her there for longer is not going to bring back my money." Mark looked shocked. "Are you serious?" he asked. Linda nodded. "I am still angry," she said. "I am still hurt. But Sarah is my sister. And she's clearly not well, so I am letting it go." Mark stood there for a moment. Then he went into Sarah's room. Sarah was sitting on the bed crying. Mark sat next to her and hugged her. A few weeks later, Sarah was released from the hospital. But she had to go back to prison to serve the rest of her sentence. The judge reduced her sentence to 1 year because of her mental health issues and because Linda dropped the charges. Mark was relieved. At least it was not 2 years anymore. Sarah went back to prison. Mark visited her once a week. I went with him sometimes. Sarah was different in prison. She was calmer. She was taking her medication. She was going to therapy. She was starting to accept what had happened to her. One day during a visit, Sarah said, "I joined a support group in here. A group for people who have been scammed. And I found out I am not the only one. There are so many women in here who went through the same thing I did. Some of them lost even more money than me." "That is good, Mom," Mark said. "I am glad you are talking to people who understand." Sarah nodded. "One woman lost $500,000, she said. Another woman sold her house and gave everything to a scammer. We all thought we were in love. And we were all wrong." Sarah looked at Mark. "I want to do something when I get out," she said. "I want to help other people. I do not want anyone else to go through what I went through." Mark smiled. "That is a good idea, Mom," he said. Sarah served her full sentence. 1 year. When she got out, Mark picked her up from the prison. She had nowhere to go. No house. No money. So Mark brought her to live with us. Sarah moved into our guest room. She was different now. Quieter. Humbler. Broken. The first few months were hard. Sarah had nightmares. She cried a lot. She struggled with depression. But slowly she started getting better. She started going to therapy regularly. She started taking better care of herself. She started rebuilding her life piece by piece. Linda eventually agreed to meet with Sarah again. They met at a coffee shop. They talked for hours. Linda said she still had not forgiven Sarah completely. She said she would spend the rest of her life trying to make it up to Linda. Linda said she did not want Sarah's apologies. She just wanted her sister back. It has been 2 years now since everything happened. Sarah still lives with us. She got a part-time job at a grocery store. She is saving money slowly. She volunteers at a local community center teaching older people about online safety. She tells them her story. She warns them about romance scams. She helps them protect themselves. And it gives her purpose. Sarah will never get her money back. Linda will never get her money back. The scammers were never caught. The money is gone forever. And our family will never be the same. But we are healing. Slowly. One day at a time. Sarah told me something last week that stuck with me. She said, "Loneliness is a powerful thing. It makes you do things you would never normally do. It makes you believe things that are too good to be true. And it makes you vulnerable to people who want to take advantage of you." She said if she could go back, she would have done everything differently. She would have listened to us. She would have believed the evidence. She would have protected herself. But she cannot go back. None of us can. All we can do is move forward and try to do better. My name is Jessica. My mother-in-law lost over $250,000 to a romance scammer. She stole $150,000 from her own sister. She went to prison. She lost everything. And it all started with a message from a stranger online. If you know someone who is lonely, someone who is vulnerable, someone who might be at risk, please talk to them. Please warn them. Please protect them. Because these scammers are real, and they destroy lives every single day. If this story touched you, please subscribe to her words right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we share real stories like this every week. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you or someone you know ever been scammed? How did you handle it? Let me know. And please share this video with anyone who needs to hear it. We need to spread awareness about these scams so no one else has to go through what my family went through. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.